To have passion in life is everything.
What's your Everest?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
that 200-inch buck?
They just look so impressive when they're wide.
Especially running away.
Welcome to this week's episode of Eastmans Elevated.
It's like a think tank for outdoor activity.
Sounds exactly like my hunting. Just always thinking about it, always trying to evolve it and make it better.
Here's your host, Brian Barney.
Hey guys, another episode of the podcast coming at you. So last week I did this podcast that's all about getting yourself ready for next season. And I dragged it on a little bit long. I got so caught up in talking about states and new spots and Google Earth and maps and all the research that goes into it that I burned up an hour pretty easy. And so I turned it into a two-part episode. So this is the second part. In this episode I want to talk about physical fitness and getting your body ready for the hunts next year and getting in shape and how important that is. And then also I want to talk about, your bow shot. It seems like, every successful hunt you have always comes down to making your shot, and you can never be too good of an archery shot. And so it's about this constant evolution and constant learning, improving your shooting, and also not just putting your bow away for the off season, keeping that thing out and keeping practicing and keep building on everything you've gained, to get ready for this season. So, I guess we'll start off, talking about physical fitness and physical fitness has played such a huge role in my success over the years. I started years ago. I just started to notice the importance of it and how tough the mountains are. I mean, the mountains are just grueling. They're mile after mile, and then with a backpack on, and it really tests your endurance and tests your will to succeed at every step. Especially if you're going in for a multiple day hunt. It seems like you can push hard for a day or 2 or 3 days, but once you start to get into those deeper days in the hunt, your body starts to get sore and tired. Maybe you're sleep deprived, not getting enough sleep in the tent because you're hunting so hard, till dark and getting back to camp and then waking up so early. And it just wears on you to the point where it's tough to keep going towards the end of the hunt. And it's, it's as much your mental strength as it is your physical fitness, but your physical fitness and the training in the off season helps build this mental toughness and helps build it into you to keep pushing during season. And so, it's been one of the hugest assets for me. And some guys have a tough time tying in physical fitness with success, in the hunting woods, or, they just feel like, I'm in good enough shape to hike, mile after mile and look for game. And when it's time, I'm going to go hard. And it only holds so true. There's always, you can always be in better shape, and being in good shape. Gosh, I mean, it helps me, like I say, push day after day, mile after mile, and I don't let myself quit. I know my body's in such good shape that I know, I can push. I mean, some of these stalks I go for, I'll see bucks across huge drainages, 2,000 feet of elevation loss and gain, and then got to do all that back over again to get back to camp. And I just know I'm in good shape. And so if there's a chance I can kill that buck and he's in a good spot with a good wind, I just go for it. I don't second guess it. I'll do anything to accomplish my goals, and being in good shape allows me to do that. Also, I can't tell you how many times where I've seen like a good bull go over the ridgeline, and if you can make it to that ridgeline where he just went over the top in a short amount of time, when you come over the top, he's right there in range, or even cutting off a herd of elk or a buck or whatever, but cutting them off and getting in front of them. There's always a time to move quick, and you got to know when to slow down. That's part of stalking. But at the same time, you got to know when to push and to go hard. I know some of these stalks on bucks, a lot of times I'm down off the feature looking at them and they bed down, and you don't know how long they're going to be bedded. And so, your play is to try to get up and around them as quick as you can. Half the time you're at a jog and you're just trying to make it around them before they move bed so you can close into where they're at. And so you're always trying to close distance, and the better shape you are, the faster you can close distance. And And there's so much that ties to it, not only in hunting, but also in the pack out. We kill these animals, way off trails or way in deep back in someplace. I mean, you guys have heard the saying, that's when the work begins. Well, that's the truth. You got a deer down by yourself, or you get an elk down by yourself. You've got multiple trips back in there with heavy loads on your backpack. And if you're not in good shape, it dang near kill you to get them out of there. I mean, it dang near kills you when you're in good shape, but physical fitness, it just means everything to me. Being in good shape, being able to push really hard, and then like I was saying, I get a bunch of mental strength and mental toughness from it, and I think that's it is the biggest asset we have as hunters, is to have mental strength and to keep pushing, to pick ourselves up after a miss or a blown stalk, or just to keep going day after day, even if you're not seeing any bucks, knowing that day 8, day 9, you're going to keep going, and you're going to keep driving hard to accomplish your goals. It's a way of paying our dues and always working towards our goals. And when you pay your dues and work hard towards your goals all year round, thousands of running miles I put into it. When I get on a hunt and I'm on day 9, and there's no way I'm quitting early and going home. I got too much invested in it. I got too much invested in my physical fitness to give up or give in. I know I can keep pushing. I know I can go another day. I know I can go another mile. But that mental strength, I think I attribute almost all my success to that, is to keep pushing hard. And when you do, and there's multiple ways to get in good shape. I like, there's 3 different facets of it that I like to think about. I think about strength, endurance, and flexibility. And I try to get those 3 in, but, that endurance to keep pushing on and to keep going, and also it builds trust in your body, and trust that you can keep going, and building that endurance builds the most mental strength. It's so taxing on you. Like I say, there's multiple different ways to get in good shape, and I'll go over what I do, but I do a lot of trail running, and this trail running, I mean, it's mile after mile in the mountains, where you're climbing up hills, down hills, side hilling, trailing, and a lot of times you're doing 15 or 20 miles. At some point in that run, you want to quit. There's just no two ways about it. But you continue, you work through that in your own mind, and you keep telling yourself, no, I can't quit. A lot of times you're that many miles from the truck, so you've got to make it back. But you just keep telling yourself, one foot in front of the next, keep pushing and keep going hard. And it's that same attitude during hunting season, when the chips are down and whatever the case is, you just know you have that endurance built into you, and I got to wake up this morning at 5 a.m. I got to get on the trail. I got to find that buck. I got to keep pushing. I've waited all year for this. I've trained all year for this. So that physical fitness is just so important to me. And like I say, it's a way that I pay my dues, and a way that I work towards my goals, and that I can preach. I learned at a young age. I learned during wrestling, and through all facets of life, but especially during wrestling, taught me the lessons that the harder you work at something, the better you'll be at it. And so I try to carry that throughout life, whether it's in my business, or whether it's on this podcast, or in the hunting world. But I love working hard towards my goals and accomplishing them, and trail running for me, or physical fitness, every facet of it is a way that I can pay my dues to the hunting world, or to the hunting gods, or however you want to say it. But it's a way that I'm putting in the hard work that goes towards my success at the end of the season. And like I say, you have so much confidence in the woods when you're in good shape, and it doesn't wear you down, and you can climb that next mountain, because a lot of our endurance, isn't how many miles you can do. It's how much elevation. I mean, you're constantly climbing, and that takes it out of you faster than anything. And especially, if you got your camp on your back or something like that, you may think you're tough until you get in the mountains with a 40-pound pack, and you got to do 15 or 20 miles. That beats anybody up. And so you got to get yourself ready, both physically and mentally. So like I was saying, there's 3 facets to my training, as I like to train strength, and I like to train flexibility and then endurance. So flexibility is a new one for me. I just started this like maybe a couple years ago, and it has helped me immensely. So I never have been a guy that stretches. I didn't stretch, when I used to play sports. I mean, they'd make you a little bit or whatever. I'd maybe stretch a little bit before runs, but not much, to be honest. I just go for it. And it worked for me. I was young, I had a young body, but what started to happen, through, working construction my whole life and I've always been strong and I've always worked on my endurance, but I never worked on my flexibility. And so, when I was working, I'd twist a certain way and I'd tweak my back a little bit. And you try to keep going on a hunt with a tweaked back, it just doesn't work. And if, and it used to hurt it pretty bad, like, butchering an elk is a great example because you're always bent over and it works that lower back. Well, it fatigues that lower back. And then pretty soon you twist a certain way and tweak your back. And boy, good luck getting that elk out of the mountains with a hurt back. But that's where flexibility has really helped me. And it's also helped me with other injuries, as far as pulled muscles in my legs, IT bands in my knees. I mean, just everything really. It's just flexibility plays such a huge part, and there's nobody really talking about it or doing it. I mean, there's everybody hears about yoga, and not that I want you to get your yoga pants on and go get a frappe down at the Starbucks or whatever, but I'm serious. It really helps. It really works. And so I've kind of got in, I call them my man stretches. It makes me feel a little bit better about myself, but I've really got into this yoga and stretching, probably, I like to do it every day, but it ends up being about 5 days a week. And I don't have, I want to get into it more and more. I want to learn more about these yoga routines, and it's not just for the women. It's, it's for all of us guys, and it especially helps in hunting. I mean, it's just amazing, and I live in such a small town, but I'd love to find a couple yoga classes I can go to and get better at it. And it's like feeling your body stretch. Like you can bend over and touch your toes, but there's this thing when you can actually start to feel the muscles stretch and feel what the stretch is doing and doing it correctly, that you get a bunch out of it. And like I say, that flexibility, I haven't pulled my back out in a couple years, where it used to be a few times a year I would tweak it. And when I did tweak it, as far as on the pain scale, 1 to 10, I mean, I could pull it out a 7 or 8 and be on the couch for a couple days where I couldn't move. And there's no way you're continuing a hunt like that. And it seems like as I started this stretching, I haven't tweaked my back at all. But even if I do, it's like a 1 or a 2 on the scale where you could push through it or go through it. And like I say, I can't remember an injury in the last couple years that I've had, which is just amazing for me. And also pulled muscles. Like I was telling you before, I used to get a hamstring pull or calf pull or something, from all the miles I was running. And with doing these stretches and stretching after my runs, and I'm still not very good at stretching before my runs. I should be better, but stretching every day is building my flexibility, which in turn has let me push harder. And I mean, as these years keep clicking off and I get older, I seem to just keep being in better shape and being able to endure more, which is just awesome. So that flexibility is a big one that I've never really done. Like I say, it's just been in the past few years where I picked it up and really the past couple. And like I say, my man stretches, I've just kind of got this routine that I found that I keep trying to add to, but it's a lot of back stretching and a lot of twisting and just getting my body used to these awkward positions and kind of pushing. And then it also helps too. There's a lot of like balance poses and stuff. And not that I'm a pro at all of them or anything, but I try to pick up ones here or there. And then my wife does yoga, and so she's always giving me tips on different stretches and different poses I can do. And man, it has helped me immensely. So it's something that you never really think about, physical fitness, but the benefits of it are just amazing. And I'm going to do it as I continue getting older. I'm going to focus more and more on it. And like I say, I want to keep learning about it, but there's a reason there's all these yoga gyms popping up. It is really good for you. That flexibility, like I say, it's a main part of physical fitness that I've just always ignored. I've always worked on my strength and worked on my endurance. Well, it does you no good to have strength and endurance if you tweak your back out of place. So, that flexibility has just been huge for me. So like I say, I'm going to continue to learn. And if you guys haven't tried it, just pick up a few stretches that'll help you, wherever your weak points are. Genetically, we all have different points, whether it's, your knees or your shoulders or your back, but just pick up some stretches that help stretch that out and then stick to it. It doesn't take that long. It's not that big of a commitment, and the benefits, far outweigh, the embarrassment of getting on yoga pants. Not that you got to get on your spandex, but you know what I mean. It's super beneficial. So it's something that nobody in the hunting world is really talking about, but something that I'm using a bunch and that I'm really benefiting from. So that's a big part of my physical fitness that I've just incorporated that I'm super happy with. And then we go into strength, and strength is super important. Strength is it helps to have good muscle tone when you're climbing up and down mountains, and this muscle tone or extra muscle like in your legs, it helps, gives your knees stability, so you don't twist something out of place that way. It gives you so much stability coming down uneven slopes and side hilling and carrying a pack. I mean, having those strong back muscles and so it's a huge part of physical fitness. I would say, that most guys focus on this. Most of the time this isn't a problem. Weight training for guys is something we like. We like to get stronger and we like to feel strength, but you don't want to, for me, endurance is more important than strength, but, I have a decent build on me and I get good exercise from work, but strength, it is important, and I do want to put lean muscle on. I just don't want you guys just to focus on weight training. I see so many guys in the gym that just focus on lifting and don't do any cardio work, and they can't keep up in the mountains. So you got to teach those muscles endurance as well. But strength is important, and it's a big part of physical fitness. Like I say, having strength to pack a pack or to pack heavy weight out, up and down hills, that muscle is great for you. It's just a fine line. You get too much muscle and then it takes too much blood flow and too much oxygen out of you, and then you start to lose endurance. So you just want to teach these muscles endurance as you put on muscle. And I used to do a lot of weight training exercises in the gym, muscle isolation and blow up those muscles, whatever it is. And for us in the hunting world, I think the most important muscle we can put on is core muscles. So I've kind of switched my training routine, and I'll go back and forth, and I'll go back to lifting a little bit more. But, lately I've just been doing a lot of kettlebell exercises, and I'm super psyched with this. Just, it's a lot of body movement and twisting and just a lot of core exercises. I'm really trying to work my core and my back, and it works my legs, and then I do, a lot of like pull-ups and push-ups and dips and things of that with my own body weight. But I do a lot of these core exercises, and these core exercises too, they keep your breathing and your heart rate up. So you're almost getting a double bang for your buck. You're getting your weight training and strength training, but you're also getting a good cardio workout because you've got your heart rate, up above 125 beats a minute, 145 beats a minute as you're going through this circuit of weight training and different core exercises. And so, it's been working really good for me. I want to put lean muscle on. It makes me stronger in the mountains, makes me climb those hills better. And then, like I say, I want to teach those muscles endurance. And then endurance is where I put the majority of my focus on. I love the benefits of cardio work and endurance work and teaching my body endurance. And so, there's multiple different ways to go. And I got to get a little bit better here. I've been getting my cardio work and I've been getting my runs in, but I've kind of got a little bit soft. My wife got this new treadmill, and so it's inside and it's warm, and like on a day-to-day it's 28 degrees outside and the wind's blowing 30, and it's like, well, I'll just hop on this treadmill here, and treadmill's a good workout, don't get me wrong. I just like last winter I quit the gym and just said I'm not gonna pay the $35 a month. I'm gonna I'm going to just go get my runs outside. I'm going to bundle up. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to suffer, and it's good for me. And so, I ran exclusively all winter long outside, whether it was 10 below or 20 below or 20 degrees with the wind blowing. I ran outside. So that's really good for me and toughens me up mentally. And so, like I say, I got to get a little bit better. Lately, I've kind of got a little bit lazy. I've been on the treadmill probably more than I should, but it's so easy and convenient. And also it's a time factor too, where, I can be on the treadmill and then be inside, take a shower, and then, be to Thanksgiving dinner or whatever on time. But I do have to toughen up here a little bit and get outside a little bit more. And it's just been in the last couple weeks or the last month or whatever, as it's gotten cold, I kind of been working out on that thing. And not that it's a bad thing. I'm still getting my cardio work in, just for me to sharpen myself mentally. That's something that I want to do. But so I do the majority of my cardio work through trail runs. I love trail running, and it's been this evolution over the years. It's not fun all the time, and it wasn't fun when I first started out. It's enduring pain. It's running isn't easy, and you start out, I'd go out and I'd run a mile, on gravel road or whatever, or pavement or whatever. And I started entering a few of these races just to keep my competitive edge, 10Ks and then half marathons and then marathons. And then I've entered a couple ultras and done that. And it's just kind of been this evolution over the years. And I know I love the benefits I get out of running, and I love the feeling I get when I'm done. And I love being like, I feel like runners, when you're running all the time, you're almost like a step above endurance wise above everybody else. You just, whether it's at work, it's just, even if we're doing physical work and we're, whatever it is, pouring concrete or framing a place, or, I just don't run out of endurance. I don't get tired, and my body doesn't use as much. I don't sweat as much, or I feel like my body uses less water. And so, I don't get dehydrated as easy. And I feel like, you deal with, you get so hot when you're running in the summertime and running in the heat and stuff. And so therefore, I condition my body to where the heat doesn't bother me as bad. We can be working out in the sun and be roofing a house or whatever it is. And I feel like I don't get too hot. I feel like my body regulates temperature more. And I also I do a lot of sauna work too. And I just love saunas. I've always loved saunas down at the gym, and like I say, I quit the gym last year. But when I built this new house, I did this tile shower that was, the thing took me like 200 hours of labor to work and do this shower that I did all custom in. And what I did is I put a steamer in it. So I know I'm spoiled rotten to have a steamer in my house or whatever, but this was it was something that we'd use more than we'd use a hot tub. Me and my wife, we both love saunas and love the benefit from them, and it actually is shown that it teaches the body endurance, being in these saunas and being in that heat, and it also helps your body regulate heat better. So I do sauna probably 4 or 5 times a week, so I get a bunch of benefit out of that too. But I just this trail running, it's been something that I found that I really enjoy, and I've kind of gone from pavement used to beat up on me a little bit, and I've still got really good joints. I'm late 30s now, and run thousands of miles a year, at least 1,000 miles a year, and how my joints just hold up really good. And what happens is I think your bones become harder from the pounding, and your body adapts to the stress you put on it. And so the more stress you put on your body, the more you adapt to it, and the more you get conditioned to it. And so, I don't have any joint pain or anything ever. I don't take Advil or Tylenol, or I don't take any of that. And I can go run 15 miles and I'm not sore. You know what a benefit that is in the mountains when you're mountain hunting, that you don't get sore and you don't get tired. You get tired and you have to keep pushing, but you know what I mean? Your body just holds up better than the average. And two, I think your recovery is better. Your body's so used to this heavy stress of running that then, when you get a good night's sleep, your body recovers. Cause I train nearly every day. I'm I'm not good at taking breaks. I listen to my body, and if I'm really run down, I'll take a day off. But I do best when I'm running 6-7 days a week. And I'll take an easy day and do 3 to 5 miles or something like that. But most days I'm pushing hard, and I push a bunch of elevation. Over the years, like I say, I started doing all these runs, and I've worked up now to where now I pretty much exclusively do trail runs. I love the benefit of going up and down hills and working those muscles, and so it climbing up, for me, 2,000 feet of elevation works me way better than 6 miles on flat or 12 miles on flat. It's just that elevation it puts the strain on my body, and my body adapts to it. And when you're used to running 2,000 to 3,000 feet elevation every day, you get in the mountains. 2,000 to 3,000 feet at a good hiking pace is nothing, and so like I say, it's not for everybody. I know everybody's not a runner out there, and there's different ways to get cardio work. And like I say, you're given what you're given genetically. Some guys' knees don't hold up, but I think it's something you ease into. And if you can't, you're not going to be able to start running up hills, but you can throw a pack on and hike up hills. And I just find that running, you get good workouts from other things, but running puts the highest stress on my body in the least amount of time. So to bike ride, I'd have to bike ride 2-3 hours to get the same workout I get in an hour of trail running. And whether it's an elliptical, in that hour I'd have to do the elliptical, I can get that same workout in 20 minutes of hard running or hard mountain running. And so I've just found it's the most efficient way for me to get a really good workout. And so I'll mix and match bike rides, and bike ride is a whole nother beast. It really works your quads, which is great. I call it the pain machine in the mountains, and that thing is just brutal on your quads, but it takes longer to get that exercise, and you're not getting as good a cardio as I get on my trail run. So, I've found trail running, but you just got to find out what's right for you, and everybody's a little bit different. I know some guys say that trail running isn't the same as being in the mountains. You need to get weight in your pack and hike up hills, and there may be some truth to that too. I've just found it works for me and gets me in really good shape, and then I work on my strength and my flexibility, and in turn, all three of those things, gets me ready for the mountains. But, whatever it is, it's just getting out and doing it. And it's that mental strength. It's making yourself do a workout when you don't feel like doing a workout. I mean, how many days do you have a long day at work and you get home and you don't feel like doing a workout? You feel like, man, I just want to relax. I've been working hard all day. But if you have this mental strength and this, you get in this routine of working out, you almost feel guilty if you don't. And so you just start to squeeze in the time whenever it is, whether it's early, whether it's, I'll run on my lunch break, or I'll run after work, or I'll get my headlamp on and run at night. It's just finding and making the time. So you still get your work done. You still spend time with your family, but you get your workout. It's a priority in your life, not only to work out and be healthier, but in turn to be a better hunter and to accomplish your goals come season. So that's what drives me. And anymore, the only time I ever take off is for hunting season. I take off, during big game season, and then, big game season isn't even over by the time I start running again and getting in my workouts. It just slows down a little bit where I can start making the time again, and I start going for it. And even right now, my season isn't over, but, I'm working out hard thinking about next season already, and just getting my body to even better shape and be better for the mountains and be able to push harder. God, it just means so much to me to be in good shape, come hunting season. So I'm working on it right now. In fact, I got to get in my workout today. It's almost 4:00 already, and I've been busy all day, and so I've got to fit it in tonight, somehow, some way, just get in my workout. And then again, that's that mental strength. It just, it toughens you and hardens you. There's that saying, sharpen steel, or steel sharpen steel. I guess that doesn't apply here. I lost my train of thought, but I like that saying. It just, going into season as sharp as you can be, and part of that is making yourself work out and holding yourself to these goals that you've set out for yourself. And once you start to do it and make yourself do it day after day, you gain mental strength from that, because you make yourself go punish yourself for whatever it is, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. You make time every day, and you make yourself do it. And then it seems like when you come into season, you put in all this hard work and you've made yourself go every day. There's no way you're going to sleep in on a morning hunt, or there's no way if you've got 2 more days to hunt that you're going to give in early. You're going to keep pushing and keep going hard. And so, this holding yourself to the workout goals that you set out is a big part of mental strength. And like I say, it doesn't have to be trail running. Just find out what's right for you. And the biggest thing for me is to get started. If I put off my workouts, I can put it off for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is what I used to do. But anymore, now just when I have the time, I get out and get started. I just, right now, today, I want to be in better shape for next season. I'm going to get a workout today. I'm going to do it. And like I say, it's whatever it is, whether it's hiking and walking around the loop, riding your bike, whether it's getting on one of these machines, a treadmill or elliptical, or they used to have that Jacob's ladder at the gym I went. That thing's a pain machine too, where you're just constantly climbing elevation. But there's all kinds of cardio machines out there, and then you just got nature out there too, where you can get out hiking. I really think weight in the pack is a great workout, and going for it. And two, some of the best workouts for me, or that I like the most, are when you don't know you're getting a workout. So I used to love wrestling, where you just go in and you go into wrestling practice and you'd wrestle hard and you get this awesome, phenomenal workout, but you're just working on your wrestling the whole time. And so, nowadays, whether it's men's league basketball, I like to play basketball, and I've kind of dropped off here this past year. I got to get back into it this winter here. But you go in and play basketball for a couple hours and you're sprinting up and down the court and you're playing basketball and having fun with your buddies or whatever it is. And you don't even know you're getting a workout, but you are, and same thing for out in the woods, whether you got a weekend day or whatever it is. Maybe you're taking a backpack trip or a scouting trip, or you're hunting for horns, or you're mix and match these fun activities, where you don't even realize you're getting a workout, or it doesn't seem like pain or suffering. And so, try to find creative ways to get in your workout and have fun with it. Where you can get these big workouts and you don't even realize you're getting them, because you're having fun in the competition or having fun in the activity that you're having. So be creative there, and just hold yourself to it, and hold yourself to being in better shape next season. And no matter how good a shape you are come season, and no matter how hard you can push, you can always be better, and you can always be stronger, and you can always be stronger mentally. Again, that saying that doesn't even apply, but I swear there's something with it. Steel hardened steel. I guess that applies to like if you were wrestling with tough competition, that guy helps sharpen you. So I guess we could apply it here is like I like to get all my buddies into working out, and none of my buddies worked out on their own or before they met me. And not that, I'm the reason that they have success or anything like that, but they see what I do in the hunting woods, and they ask me, and we talk about it. And pretty soon, guys that have never ran are going and doing runs with me. And when you get your buddies involved that way, you're also holding yourself accountable. If you got to meet your buddy at 3 to go do a run, you're going to be there at 3. There's no putting it off. There's no, I can't make it, bud. You gotta be there. You told them you were going to be there. So I think the more you can get, your spouses involved, your hunting buddies involved, and lead by example. And then, so that's the new favorite saying I like, right? Steel hardened steel. Get your buddies involved, and the tougher they are, is the tougher it'll make you. So there we go. I got to fit in that saying that didn't fit earlier, but I think it's super important. Like I say, the more people you can get involved, the more it holds you accountable. And the harder your buddies are pushing, and the better shape they are, the better shape you want to be in. It's human nature, this competition. So, if you want to accomplish your goals, you work really hard and you get in good shape. And, I know a lot of my buddies that have never worked out are now runners and now work out religiously, and they've seen more success because of it. And I know I've seen more success because of it. So steel hard and steel. um, and so that's an important part of it, but getting out of physical fitness, just like I say, the main thing is just get started. Get out today, go get a workout, and hold yourself to it. Whatever it is, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever you can do, just get started. Because once you're started, you're going to hold yourself to it. And like I say, you're paying your dues for next season. You're going to come into next season stronger and tougher and with more mental strength. So it's super important. So the next part of this podcast I wanted to get into is improving your shooting. As well as physical fitness, your shooting is so important, and you can never be too good of a shot. It's something that we're always evolving and we're always getting better at, and every successful hunt comes down to making your shot. Comes down to executing a good shot and harvesting that animal. And two, we all get lucky in the woods. We all get a lucky break or a lucky opportunity. Sometimes you feel like you don't. I feel like I earn and work so hard for all my opportunities. But sometimes you just get lucky and you find this giant critter, and there's a little bit of luck mixed into hunting, but it's about capitalizing on those opportunities. And if you're a good shot, you're going to be able to capitalize on these opportunities. And so I just want to make sure that, at least for me, I work so hard all year round on my shooting and becoming better in my shot execution. And I come into season and I continue shooting during season because I don't want to lose what I've gained. And now that hunting season's winding down and getting over, I want to make sure I don't just put my bow away for the year and not touch it again till next summer, because I don't want to go backwards and get worse and then have to get back to where I was next summer, and so my shooting is so important to me and such a major facet of my game, and I'm always pushing to become a better shot, and a lot of what I work on is my shot execution. So we're always concerned with our groups and where the arrow hits, but what I'm really concerned with is executing a good shot. I've got this mental checklist that I've told you guys before where I can talk myself through a shot, where I draw back and I anchor and I say, okay, aim, and I put my pin where it needs to go, and then I say, keep pulling, and I let that shot break. That's a good shot execution. Now, when I draw back and the shot won't go, and all of a sudden I punch my trigger and make that shot go, for me, that's not good shot execution. I want to execute good shots every shot. And if it isn't a good shot, I've taught myself, I want to let down and not let a bad shot go. I had a couple misses this year, but I don't want to miss. I want to have a perfect season where I don't miss, where it's either, I take the shot and I hit the animal perfect, or I don't take the shot. And whether that's I can't get a good range, or whether that's I couldn't execute the shot, I want to be able to let down and not let that bad shot go. So it's a key at knowing what a good shot is. And I maybe got a little bit harsh the other day when I was talking about back tension execution and working your trigger. I really do think it's something everybody can improve on, but there too, I think there's a lot of great trigger shooters out there that command shoot, that can aim at their target and execute their shot. And trigger shooting it's highly effective if target panic doesn't creep in. And target panic is this natural thing that happens the more you shoot and the more you execute your shot. You start to anticipate when that shot's going to go off, and you start to anticipate when that pin's in the middle, and you start making it go, and that's what I don't want to see guys do. And so I want you to work on, if you're a trigger shooter, make sure you're aiming and letting yourself aim and just squeezing on that trigger until that shot goes. And that'll keep away from getting target panic and keep you executing that shot. But, a trigger is a great way to go. I'm shooting the back tension, and shot back tension releases and hinges, and now I shoot a thumb release hunting, and it works for me. I had a case of target panic. I told you guys before where I couldn't aim at the middle of the target, my pin would always settle low, and then I'd have to force it up and force my shot to go up. But it was just like my pin was allergic to that bullseye, and it wasn't like a horrible problem. I was able to fight through it, and I was able to kill some great animals, but I just looked at my shooting and just what could I improve. And for me, it was like, man, if I could just aim at the center of that target every time and didn't have to fight it, I could be the best shot. Or not that I could be the best shot ever, but in my mind, that's how I felt, because I can hold that bow so steady. So for me, that was a big change that really helped me. But look at your shooting in this off season. You want to make any upgrades to your gear, whether it's gear to your bow or changes to your bow or changes to your form. You want to do that now in the wintertime, because these major changes that you make to your shooting form, and whether it's, whatever it is, changes to your grip or changes to your anchor point or changes to your release or whatever it is, any changes, they're not what you're comfortable with and not what you're used to. And so what you find that happens is these major changes that are better for your shooting, you end up getting a little bit worse before you get better. So your shooting will go downhill a little bit because you're adopting this new form or adopting this new way to shoot, and you're not used to it. So your shooting gets a little bit worse and your groups get a little bit worse. But the deal is the upswing, you're going to get better than you were before, and so you've just got to see this through and know it's a good form change for you or whatever it is for improvement. And it's tough on the ego. We like to believe we're good shots, and it's tough to get advice from other people, and people don't just offer it up. And it's not a good way to go and tell a guy, hey, by the way, your draw length's too long, or so these are things that you have to figure out, and you figure out by asking questions, and guys will give you the information if you just let your guard down a little bit. Like, hey, does this draw length look too long for you? And a too long a draw length is another major mistake that I see a lot of guys shoot with. And you shoot a longer draw length because it gives you more energy in your bow and gives you more penetration. But the problem is you're extended out, and you'll almost lean back a little bit, and so your shooting form goes downhill. So you're not shooting as good a groups as you could shoot with a shorter draw length. But nobody's going to come up and tell you this. This is something you've got to figure out, or you've got to ask guys that you trust around there. And if you let your guard down and let your ego go a little bit, and you're in at the shop, and I like to shoot leagues in the wintertime, and I shoot with a lot of good shots, and I've got ego too, where I've been hunting for a lot of years and successful and a writer, and I do filmed hunts and all this stuff that I do, where I built myself up. I've killed all these trophies and I've become this good hunter. Well, I've got this ego too that I'm a good shot, and I have to push that to the back of my mind, and I have to go to these shooters that are better than me or as good as me. And some of the guys, even aren't as good as shots as me, but they know more, or have different tricks or secrets, or you can learn something from everybody. But I just ask a lot of questions, and I ask because I want to learn. And just like you guys listening to this podcast, you want to learn and gather as much information as you can. And so I pick these shooters' brains all the time. I'm always asking them questions, and even if it's I've got a good execution, I'll just ask questions where I can learn how they do things different. And I do the same thing with good hunters, and that's I've got this good guest coming up, and I want to continue to get these good public land self-guided hunters on here, because I like to share what's made me successful and my mindset and what's helped me. But I also like to gain information of how they're successful and how it works for them. I have this really good buddy, Ryan Williams, and he's a great friend of mine and a great hunter. He's really good with his bow and with his rifle, but he just gets it done. I mean, whether it's bears, whether it's elk, whether it's deer, he's killed some really nice critters, and he goes really hard. It pushes really hard, and he hunts really hard, and every year he finds success, and when I share ideas with him, a lot of times he's got different takes on how he hunts, different styles and different ways he's successful, different ways he executes his shots, or different ways. And so picking these guys' brains and figuring out how different guys do do it, you can gain knowledge from it. And archery is this ever evolving sport where you never get to the top of the heap. There's always somebody that can shoot better than you. And even in the, my local shop that I go to in Bozeman, there's a bunch of really good shots and a bunch of successful hunters and good target shooters. And it's just an absolute wealth of information. And so I try to share information as guys ask questions and want to learn stuff. And I try to help out, anything I see or anybody I can help. But then I'm also trying to gain information as well. And I'm talking to these guys and asking questions and they're really good buddies. They're always offering up, tips that have made them better or how they execute a shot. And so I've gained a lot from that, but you do have to let your ego go a little bit, and kind of take a step back. And not that you got to pretend you're a horrible shot or anything like that, but it's tough to ask questions and tough to get advice. And like I say, nobody walks up to you and goes, "Hey, your draw length's an inch too long." It's something that you almost have to figure out on your own, or you have to ask guys, to get that advice. And so that's a big one, is you want to look at your form and look at your shooting and see what kind of improvements you can make that'll make you a better shot come next season. And then you want to work on your execution. Like I say, that's my main focus right now, is executing good shots and not letting bad shots go. And then, like I told you guys, most of my mistakes this year have been rangefinder mistakes. So I've got to figure out some new rangefinder training where I get better with this rangefinder. And I think a lot of it for me is just patience. It's not trying to force a shot. It's not thinking you have a good range. It's making sure you have a good range. And so, I've got a lot of rangefinder skill. I've been doing it forever, but I think I just have to remember that going into the hunt, I know my shot execution and I think and focus on that all the time, but I've almost got to, like, my pre-shot routine, I've got to make sure I have a good range. And if I don't have a good range, I don't shoot. And if it's I'm not going to shoot a tree and then try to subtract 5 yards and try to make that shot. I need to know the range, and I need to be a little bit better at that. So that's one of the improvements I need to make in this off season, and maybe an upgrade in my rangefinder too. I'm thinking about upgrading to maybe one of those Leicas or something like that. I want to try one of those out, but for me, I think it's my pre-shot routine, making sure I have a good range. Because if I have a good range, I can execute that shot and kill him. But if I don't, I'm going to miss, and that accounted for a couple misses this season. And so I need to get a little bit better at that. That's an improvement I need to make. But along with that, I'm continually going to work on my execution of my bow. And I noticed that Matthews I got for the Eastmans filmed hunts. I shot it really well this year and got used to it, but it seems like their draw length is longer than that Hoyt's. I need to order a shorter string for it, I think, and do about, I think cut about a half inch off that draw length. And I just got the bow kind of late coming into the hunt, didn't have time to get new strings and mess with it, so I twisted my cable, or untwist my cables, twisted my string, and was able to shorten it as short as I could get it, and then also put a short string loop on it and kind of shorten up my draw length there and make it work. But I think this year I need to order a new string for that and kind of shorten that draw length a little bit. I like the draw length on the Hoyt. It seems to fit me perfect, and I seem to shoot it well. Can't really think of any upgrades I'm going to make to my equipment or to my bow. I think it's just shooting it, shot execution, and getting as good as I can get at it. And who knows what I'll learn this year just doing my leagues. Every Thursday I go up and shoot in this paper league, and I'm not the best paper shooter in the world, but I'm always looking to get better and always looking to improve. And I'm not in competition with other guys so much as I'm in competition with myself. So every Thursday I'll be up there, be shooting with really good shots up there. And so I'm sure I'll pick up tips or information, up there, shooting a new, or I started last year before, started shooting a hinge on paper, hinge release. And that thing's really helped me. I really like that. And it's helped my form. And so going to continue to shoot that hinge. Let's see, last year I put a click in it. That seemed to help me a little bit. Oh, that's one of the changes I want for paper, is a lot of times I can't focus on the pin on the paper. I don't know why that is, but I think I want to get like a little light scope for my indoor bow. And not that I shoot a bunch of indoor tournaments or anything like that, but I think it would help me to have a little 4-power magnification there, so I could just tell exactly where my pin is and maybe pick up a few points there. So no real changes to my hunting setup or anything, just some changes to the bow I'm going to shoot indoor with, and try to shoot some better scores and get better and improve. So I'm those changes, or those, like you say, how does an indoor bow help me on my bow hunting setup? Well, it just helps me because it keeps that competitive nature in me, or it keeps that edge where I'm constantly thinking, trying to get better, and I'm working at it. I'm practicing all week because I want to shoot good on Thursday or on the Saturday tournament or whatever. And so it just keeps me working at it and keeps that competitive edge to where I'm constantly working to get better. And then also it's high pressure situations. You're shooting on a line with 30 of your peers up there on a 20-yard line, and you've got 3 arrows to shoot. You want to execute 3 good shots, and so all of a sudden you're putting this pressure on yourself that you wouldn't normally have shooting by yourself or practicing in your yard. And so those high pressure situations are just getting me ready for when I'm shooting at that big buck or that big bull, so I can go through that mantra in my head. I can execute a good shot under high pressure, and it starts to build confidence and then help me for next season. So that's a lot of what I'm trying to do. But just I think the point of this whole deal is, whether it's physical fitness, whether it's your map study, whether it's your bow shooting, is keep evolving. Don't be happy with where you're at. Keep improving. This bow hunting and this archery hunting, and especially public lands and all the competition out there, it's not easy to be successful. And it's this sport that we have, if you call it a sport, it's like you can never be at the top pinnacle of it. You can always keep learning. You can always get better. And even as good as you get, I'm constantly evolving and I'm constantly improving. I'm constantly learning from my mistakes. And, I want to come into next season and I want to have a perfect season and not lose a bad arrow. And I want to kill some giant trophies, and I'm going to set my goals to it. I'm going to work hard all year to try to accomplish them. And so I think that's the important lesson to take from this, is just keep evolving, keep improving, keep working at every facet of your game to get better. And then come next season, you're going to be that much more prepared and that much better of a hunter out in the field next season. And really, it's been the key to my success over the years and in harvesting some huge animals, is just I work at it constantly. I'm constantly learning and constantly picking up information. And so that's what I'd take from this podcast and getting ready for next season. So anyways, this second part of next season preparation. So you got your work cut out for you. Get in that workout, start today, do whatever you can do and keep improving. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll talk to you next week. I'll get, I think I'm going to have that guest, Travis, Notary. Jesus, I butchered his last name. Hold on a second. God dang it. I had this. I'm always messing up his last name. It's Nowitney. Yeah, Travis Nowitney. Okay, I got it. So just a slight mess up there. Just butchered that one. God, that's horrible. I got to write myself some flashcards or something. But, well, I may not know how to pronounce his last name, but super excited to have him on. Travis is just a diehard Western hunter and is super successful. Man, he's killed some giant bucks and giant bulls and hunted a bunch of Western states, and I just have a ton of respect for him. So even though I can't pronounce his last name or can't remember how on the spot, he's going to be a great guest, and we're all going to learn something from him, and I'm just super excited to have him on. So that'll be coming up. We'll get that out next week. So till then, keep shooting straight and keep improving.